Everybody is having a great day today as we get prepared for another Shedeur Sanders saga. Now, we know news broke yesterday that Shedeur Sanders was dealing with an oblique injury. Like I said, a lot of people was clueless and pretty much saying that the young man was not hurt. He's hurt, guys. He would not be faking an injury like this. He will not be missing his reps. And for people to even say that narrative is mind-boggling to me. It's what it is. But with all of that being said, we got an update from Kevin Stefanski talking about Shedeur and pretty much the process is going to take for him to get back. Let's listen.
We want to see Shedeur again this weekend, right? I want to see that story. He was making things real interesting there in Cleveland. But man, like oblique injury, I know we've talked a little bit in the past. Oblique injury is tough for a quarterback. It's not the type of thing that you're just going to go, oh, I'll be okay in a few days. I mean, I'd be. Of course, there's no way he's playing this weekend, I would think. And what I would worry about is preseason game number 3, whether he can play then as well. Right? And it's an issue. Again, as we talk about throwing the ball.
Don't skip a single second of this video. And if this story touches your heart, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments. Where are you watching from? Let's begin. Man, Cleveland just cannot catch a break. 1 minute, the whole city is buzzing with hope, convinced that maybe, just maybe, this time is different. And the next minute, boom, the air gets sucked right out of the stadium. That's what it felt like the second the word dropped. Shedeur Sanders is dealing with an oblique injury. You could hear the collective gasp. All that energy, all that hype from his preseason debut. It flipped into panic in an instant. And I'm telling you right now, this isn't just a headline. This isn't just preseason noise. This is a moment that could change everything for the Cleveland Browns. Here's why. Oblique injuries, they're no joke. They linger, they mess with your mechanics. For quarterbacks, they can be devastating because every throw, every snap, every deep ball comes from that core rotation. You can't fake your way through it. You can't tape it up and pretend it's fine. If you push too soon, it comes back worse. Just look at Tony Romo's back issues that started with lingering core injuries. Or even in baseball, you've seen pitchers miss half a season over one bad oblique pull. Now we're talking about the Browns' most exciting young quarterback prospect in decades, dealing with the exact same type of problem. And that's the gut punch, right? Because Cleveland fans weren't just looking at Shedeur as another guy on the roster. They were looking at him as a spark, a fresh chapter. The kind of quarterback who could walk in, command respect, and finally end this carousel of heartbreak we've been spinning on for years. He wasn't supposed to be just a camp arm. He wasn't supposed to be the next name on a long list of could-have-beens. He was supposed to be the one who flipped the script. And now, it feels like the story might be slipping away before it's even begun. But here's what makes this even more frustrating. The timing. We're not in week 14 with playoff stakes on the line. We're not even in the grind of the regular season. This is August. This is supposed to be the safe runway. The time to let him build, let him grow, let him show flashes without unnecessary pressure. Instead, the Browns somehow let this turn into a crisis before the season even starts. And you can't help but ask, was it avoidable? Was this pure bad luck? Or was this another example of Cleveland mismanaging its most valuable piece of talent? Because if history has taught us anything, it's that the Browns don't just stumble into quarterback drama. They create it. And the second the words day-to-day got tossed around, you knew it wasn't going to calm fans down. It lit the fire. Because everyone's been down this road before. Day-to-day turns into week-to-week, and before you know it, the rookie you were counting on is watching from the sidelines while the season slips away. This is why it matters. This is why we're not just brushing it off as preseason chatter. The Browns finally had something that felt real, something that felt like hope. And now the entire franchise is staring down another fork in the road. Either they handle this the right way, or this oblique injury becomes the first domino in yet another Browns tragedy. And here's the kicker. The fans know it. The players know it. Ownership knows it. This isn't just about Shedeur's health. It's about what it represents. Because if Cleveland can't protect its future now, then when will they? So the question becomes, is this the start of another curse, or the trial by fire that forges a new leader? That's the tension hanging over Berea right now, and we're about to find out which way this thing breaks. That's the first thought that hit me when the Shedeur Sanders injury news broke. Because for Cleveland fans, this isn't just an injury, it's déjà vu. It's the same nightmare movie on repeat. A quarterback finally gives us hope, finally shows flashes of being the guy, and then always something pulls it all apart. And let's be honest, at this point it doesn't even feel like bad luck anymore. It feels like a curse. Think about the list. Baker Mayfield. Remember how he came in with swagger, planted the flag, broke that losing streak, and for a moment it felt like Cleveland football was back. Fast forward a few years, and he's gone, discarded like the rest. Deshaun Watson, the massive trade, the insane contract, supposed to be the savior, but instead, it's been nothing but disappointment, missed games, and headlines we don't even want to remember. Joe Flacco, a fun December story, sure, but a band-aid at best. And now it's Shedeur Sanders, the kid with the pedigree, the arm, the confidence, suddenly facing the same storm that swallowed every other Browns quarterback before him. And here's the thing that really stings. Fans were ready to believe again. After years of mismanagement, questionable drafts, and endless false starts, Shedeur was supposed to feel different. Not just another experiment. Not just a gamble. He came in polished, with that pro-ready calm you don't usually see in rookies. He wasn't supposed to be thrown into the meat grinder of Cleveland quarterback drama this fast. Yet here we are, staring at another headline that feels like the beginning of the end. And when you look around the league, it only makes the pain worse. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, these guys are out there thriving, making their teams look smart, energizing entire franchises. You can feel the momentum building around them. Meanwhile, in Cleveland, it's stumbling. Again, another chapter in a book we've all read too many times. And it's exhausting. Because the truth is, this isn't just about football. It's about trust. The fans don't trust this organization anymore. How could they? Every time hope shows up, it gets ripped away. Every time there's a chance to build something, it collapses under the weight of bad decisions and what-ifs. And the Shedeur story, already, it's starting to smell the same. A talented quarterback stuck in a system that just can't seem to get it right. And look, maybe this injury turns out to be minor. Maybe he's back throwing darts in a couple weeks. But even if that happens, the shadow of Cleveland's quarterback curse is still hanging over him. Because history tells us that this city, this team, finds a way to let things fall apart. And fans are tired of holding their breath. Tired of waiting for the next disappointment. So when you ask me why this injury matters so much, why the reaction feels so bitter, so hopeless, it's because this isn't just about Shedeur Sanders. It's about the ghosts of Baker, Deshaun, Flacco, Couch, Quinn, Manziel, all of them. It's about decades of broken promises. And until Cleveland proves otherwise, every quarterback, no matter how talented, feels like they're walking straight into the curse. And the question that lingers is brutal. Is Shedeur the one who finally breaks it, or just the next name on the list? Because if we're being honest, this isn't just about Shedeur Sanders' oblique injury. This is about Kevin Stefanski. And the truth, he's on the hot seat, whether he admits it or not. Let's call it what it is, reckless. Allowing a rookie quarterback, the franchise's one spark of hope, to practice through pain? That's not development. That's negligence. And when Stefanski stood at that podium and brushed it all off as day-to-day, please, fans aren't buying it. The media isn't buying it. And deep down, the locker room isn't buying it either. Because this isn't the first time Kevin Stefanski has fumbled the one job he was hired to do: build quarterbacks, protect them, and maximize their talent. That's why ownership brought him in, right? He was supposed to be the guy who could stabilize this position. He was supposed to be the one to finally flip the script in Cleveland. And yet, under Stefanski, what have we seen? Quarterback chaos, musical chairs, guys coming in, guys getting hurt, guys losing confidence. We're told there's a plan, but all we've watched is a revolving door that's destroyed more potential than it's developed. Now compare that to real quarterback developers. Andy Reid in Kansas City, Sean McVay with the Rams, Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco. These coaches don't just protect their young talent. They put them in positions to thrive. They adapt their system to the quarterback's strengths. They know when to push, when to protect, and how to bring a player along without breaking him. That's what leadership looks like. That's what quarterback development actually means. Stefanski, he's given us the opposite. Instead of maximizing what's there, he's wasted it. And now he's risking doing the same with Shedeur Sanders, a rookie who should be the future, but instead is already learning the hard lesson that in Cleveland, the head coach might not have your back the way you need him to. And don't think ownership isn't paying attention. You better believe they are. The Haslams have poured money, time, and patience into this roster. They've endured the Watson debacle. They've sat through years of excuses. And now the one thing they finally had hope in, a young quarterback, is dangling by a thread. The whispers are already out there. The media is circling. And in this league, once the narrative turns on you, it doesn't stop. Right now, Kevin Stefanski's job might already be hanging by a thread. And if Shedeur's situation spirals the way so many Cleveland quarterback stories have before, that thread, it's snapping fast. And here's the real kicker. The fans know it. You can feel the anger building. The pressure is mounting. And unless Stefanski pulls off something drastic, something different, this isn't just going to be remembered as the Shedeur Sanders injury. It's going to be remembered as the moment Kevin Stefanski lost the city of Cleveland for good. Because let's be real, how many more quarterbacks do we have to lose before the Browns finally realize the coach is part of the curse? This is where the story flips. Because even with the setback, even with the oblique injury, what Shedeur Sanders has already shown in Cleveland is something you can't teach. You either have it or you don't. And from the moment he stepped onto an NFL field, Shedeur showed us he does. Think back to that preseason game against Carolina. 14 completions on 23 attempts, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns. That wasn't just a box score stat line, that was command. That was a rookie stepping into the huddle, looking veterans in the eye and saying, "Follow me." And they did. You could feel it. The offense had rhythm, the energy shifted. And for once, Cleveland fans could actually believe this wasn't just another quarterback experiment. And here's the thing, stats don't capture leadership. Anybody can point to a completion percentage. Anybody can talk passer rating. But leadership shows up in the little things. The way he calms his guys down after a penalty. The way he shrugs off a sack, gets up and delivers on the next play.
The way he doesn't flinch when the pocket collapses. He keeps his eyes downfield, scanning, searching, refusing to panic. Those are intangibles. And intangibles are what separate just another quarterback from a franchise cornerstone. We've seen this before. Russell Wilson in Seattle, Dak Prescott in Dallas. Neither guy was supposed to be the face of their franchise so quickly, but both won over their locker rooms not with highlight reel throws but with presence, with poise, with that unshakable belief that bleeds into everyone around them. That's what Shedeur has shown us already. He's not perfect, no rookie is, but the maturity, the toughness, the leadership, that's real. And it's why this injury, as frustrating as it is, doesn't feel like the end of the story. It feels like the beginning of a bigger one, because sometimes it's the adversity that forges the leader. We've seen rookies crumble when things go wrong, when the hits pile up, when the setbacks come fast. But we've also seen the special ones use it as fuel. And from everything we've seen about Shedeur Sanders, his work ethic, his mindset, his resilience, this feels like fuel. This feels like the first chapter in a story we're going to be talking about for years. Cleveland has been desperate for a quarterback who doesn't just throw the ball, but owns the huddle. And despite the injury, despite the bad luck, despite the chaos around him, Shedeur has already shown he might be that guy. And that's why fans can't give up. That's why this story is still worth believing in. Because every franchise savior starts somewhere. For some, it's January in the playoffs. For others, it's August in the preseason. And for Shedeur Sanders, it might just be right now, in the middle of adversity, showing leadership you can't teach. This is it. This is where the future of the Cleveland Browns teeters on the edge. Because let's be real, Shedeur Sanders isn't just another rookie quarterback. He's not another stopgap, not another name we'll forget 2 years from now. He is right now the best shot this franchise has had in decades to break the cycle. And the way the Browns handle this moment, his injury, his development, his leadership, will decide everything. Cleveland has lived through too many nightmares to count. Quarterback after quarterback, coach after coach, false hope, empty promises, and seasons that collapse before the leaves even turn orange in the fall. The city has carried that weight for years, but when Shedeur Sanders arrived, it felt different. It felt like finally Cleveland had a quarterback with poise, with presence, with the kind of belief you can build a team around. And that's why this injury hurts so much more than just the physical setback. Because it puts pressure on the Browns front office, on the coaching staff, on the organization as a whole. No more excuses. No more wait and see. This is the moment where they either rise up, protect their franchise quarterback, give him the right coaching and stability, or they repeat history. Look at the teams that got it right. Patrick Mahomes had Andy Reid. Jalen Hurts had Nick Sirianni, and a staff that built an offense around his strengths. Lamar Jackson had John Harbaugh, who leaned into his unique style instead of forcing him to fit a mold. Great quarterbacks thrive when the organization believes in them and builds for them. That's the blueprint. And that's the question hanging over Cleveland right now. Will they finally do it? Fans are tired of hearing the word rebuild. They're tired of hearing trust the process while watching other franchises pass them by. This isn't about patience anymore, it's about accountability. Shedeur has shown the toughness, the leadership, the flashes of brilliance. Now it's on the Browns to match that energy, to stop fumbling their future, to finally act like a franchise that wants to win. Because if they don't, then we all know how this story ends. Another wasted talent, another fan base left broken, another chapter in the curse of Cleveland quarterbacks. But if they do get it right, if they rally around Shedeur, if they invest in him, if they make the bold moves this moment demands, then maybe, just maybe, this is the turning point. This is the chapter where the curse breaks, and that's why the franchise hangs in the balance. Not next year, not someday down the line, right now. The Browns can either write a new story, a story of resilience, leadership, and finally, a quarterback worth believing in. Or they can repeat the nightmare we've all seen too many times before. The choice is theirs, and the clock is ticking.